You know, after that nice upset victory the Titans had against the Texans, it just gave us that little bit of hope, that little bit of wiggle room to kind of almost make you feel like the season's not dead. Am I delirious? I think I am. We'll discuss it all here on the Titan Bros. Good evening and welcome back to another Titan Bros video. I am doing a solo video today. Josiah is full of turkey and he's currently sleeping, probably, I would assume, at 9:30 at night because he has to wake up at like 3:50, 4 o'clock in the morning. So it's just going to be me and you and me, having a nice little one-on-one chit chat. And speaking of which, happy Thanksgiving to you. At least that's when I decided to go live, is on Thanksgiving. I don't know when you're going to watch this, but hope you ate enough turkey and then some. And you can't forget the dessert. Hopefully you had plenty of pie or something. That being said, let's jump on into the video. This is kind of a 2-in-1 since we didn't make a recap of the Titans-Texans game. And I haven't made a preview of the Titans-Commanders game. This is going to kind of just knock them both out in one little video here. I don't know. I might go for 15 minutes. I might ramble for 30, but buckle up, boys and girls. It's going to be fun. At least I hope it is. So, there were a lot of people, and I'll give people their flowers. Mr. Tic Tac Titans, Tyler Rowland, Locked on Titans, whatever you want to call him. He was really smelling an upset against the Texans. Austin Stanley of A to Z Sports, he had a dream. Actually, I don't think he had a dream. He has a lot of draft dreams, and a lot of times those things come true for the Titans. But he actually just had a gut feeling in the week. He's like, ooh, I'm going to take the money line bet on the Titans to beat the Texans, not just to cover the spread, but to actually beat the Texans. And I always want to be hopeful, blindly hopeful. But I never saw it. Like, I couldn't feel it. I didn't see it. But by golly, they were right. Kudos to them. Titans beat the Texans. And not only did the Titans beat the Texans, but the Titans beat the Texans in spite of themselves. Because the Titans still threw a pick six. And Will Levis, after he threw that pick six, was running so weird with his head down like that. I'm not sure why. I think he just wants to be memed at this point. But Will Levis threw a pick six. Not good. Not only did we have good field position, but we just gave them the ball and 6 points. Make it 7 with the extra point. That happened. Jaquan Jackson, guess what he did? He fumbled a punt. Gave them good field position. Very good field position. And points, I believe. Tony Pollard, one of the most consistent things on our team, fumbled the ball. I mean, it's kind of like a botched handoff, but still. Fumbled the ball, in my opinion. All those things happened, and the Titans won. And against the Jets and against the Bears, those were the things that we could not overcome. Titans played better than the Bears almost all the way around the board in week 1. But the flick six with the surrender cobra pose like this right here, just watching the guy run to the end zone, that happened, as well as the block punt. Titans weren't good enough to overcome. And then the Jets the very following week, a couple of turnovers, some picks, some fumbles, and then another blocked punt. The Titans were not good enough to overcome. That's why we started 0-2. But maybe the foundation has been laid. Maybe. And all the things that Callahan's been teaching and preaching all offseason is finally starting to stick. Because in spite of all of that nastiness that we were a part of in that game, Titans got the dub. Not just that, but we scored 30 points. And in my opinion, this is the for real first time we've scored 30 points since 2021. You might be like, well, what do you mean the for real time? Last time we scored 30 points against the Dolphins in week 4, we scored 31, but guess what? There was a safety, so our defense gave us 2 of those points, meaning our offense only scored 29. So this is the first time without help the Titans offense scored 30 points. Plus, it's the first time we'll ever scored 30 points. So all of that's incredible. That's impressive. I'll absolutely take it. That's kind of a little clickbaity in the title of the show. Titan season is 99% in the books. Like, it's over. But there's always that small chance because we have 8 losses right now. 9-8 could win this division. At this point, it's division or bust. Like, if we don't get the division, there's no way we're getting our hands on a wild card position. But there's always that little bit of hope. And in the end, there's only like 4 Super Bowl caliber teams every season. So all the other 28 fan bases are basically just holding on and clinging to just a little bit of hope. You know? At least a nice little win against the Texans gave us that hope. So let's talk about the game just a little bit. Players that stood out in a good or a bad way. Let's get special teams out of the way. Special teams continues to be a major weakness. I almost wish Stonehouse would just punt the ball out of the end zone every punt play. Not out of the end zone, but out of the sidelines every punt. I wish Nick Folk on every kickoff would just go ahead and kick it onto into the end zone. I know they get it at like the 30-yard line. I kind of wish we would just do that because the amount of plays that other teams get to make and flip fields or score points because of how bad our special teams are, it's unreal. It's really unheard of. Our specialty players on special teams are great. I like Stonehouse. I like Nick Folk, who knocked 2 50-plus yarder field goals in there today. I say bring him back next year. That's just me. But we'll have a nice video on who to bring back and who not to bring back in the offseason. But bring Nick Folk back. He's doing fantastic work. And then, obviously, Morgan Cox, the long snapper, is good as well. A Pro Bowl long snapper at that. So them 3 are fantastic. Apart from that, punt coverage, kick coverage, it's all garbage. Not just that, but we can't tackle. We get our hands on people. We just don't tackle them. I don't get it. I really don't. And Jaquan Jackson, there's a lot of people say, oh, well, if you look at his average yards per punt return, he's actually like on an upper half of the league, like maybe the 11th best return. I'm like, I don't buy that. I don't buy that one little bit. I haven't been happy with him because I feel like maybe that it's blocked well in some plays for him to get those yards. But I feel like he always gets tackled by the first person who gets their hands on him. And a lot of times he'll get the ball and he'll be trying to juke people who are still 15 yards away from him. So instead of just running to get the actual yards that's there in front of him, and then now he finally had his fumble. Jaquan Jackson at returner, not liking that. Okay, negativity's over. Let's go to some defense. I made a guest appearance on the Power Hour Monday night show with the Titan on the Titan Upload Network. I hosted their show not last Monday, but the Monday before that. Co-hosted it. And one of the things that I had said was my biggest surprises of that game, and it only continued, is the depth the Titans have at secondary. 2 of the biggest offseason additions was Chidobe Awuzie and L'Jarius Sneed. They've basically been non-factors this year, but mostly because of injury. I'm hoping only because of injury because they're still our future going forward. But with them 2 out, Jarvis Brownlee Jr. and Darrell Baker, I believe is his name, the third, they're playing really good football. Especially Jarvis Brownlee. He's aggressive. He's getting flagged a lot. I don't care. I think a lot of them are bullcrap penalties. Jarvis Brownlee Jr., we found something in the 5th round. I like the way I said we. I just took credit for that. But Ran Carthon found something in the 5th round with this guy. And I wouldn't be surprised if Cheeto ends up getting cut. I'm not talking about this offseason, but sooner. I think it was a 3-year deal. I would not be surprised if by the end of his 2nd year we trade him or cut him because Jarvis Brownlee is just going to be our starter opposite of L'Jarius Sneed. And to me, that's a good problem. It's a good problem because at that point, I think Awuzie's 29. So at that point, he'll be 31 years old. So 31-year-old expensive corner. We'll give him the axe. JBJ can step on in there. It's a beautiful thing. He got his first pick of his career. Loved it. Loved it. Our highly drafted and or highly paid defensive players really came to play. T'Vondre Sweat had a heck of a game. A fantastic game, honestly. Love to see it. That made me very happy. Because he's kind of hit and miss. He's kind of quiet some games, but then other games, like, you just felt him that whole game. And then he eventually just slung old CJ Stroud to the ground. It was beautiful. And then the last two plays of the game on defense was Big Jeff, who's starting to come around. I really was hard on him the first 5 or 6 games of the season. I said the only time you ever hear his name is when he's doing a penalty. A stupid penalty at that. So he's really coming around finally. Love to see that. He had a nice sack on CJ Stroud. And then Harold Landry, who started off the opposite. He started off hot, getting all kinds of sacks. And then's been quiet the last couple of weeks. He got the game-winning sack in the end zone. Give us 2 points. Give us the ball. Game over, baby. Go home. So that was nice to see as well. That's all I'll say about the defense. Oh, one more thing. Kenneth Murray. He's been struggling this year a lot, especially in coverage. But give credit where credit is due. Kenneth Murray came to play. Not only did he get an interception, but that fellow was just flying around that field. I love to see it. Made me very happy. Who else we got? I think defense, I'll go ahead and stop it there. Offense, slide over onto the offense side of the ball. NWI, he doesn't know how to not get a touchdown. Every single game that he's actually been basically a wide receiver as opposed to, a special teams player or a backup, he's caught a touchdown. It's insane. Obviously, you Titan fans, you fellow Titans fans, are fully aware of the touchdown streak that NWI has going. But it's insane. It's insane. Love to see it. He's so reliable. But on the other side of him, Calvin Ridley. I've really been happy with the way Calvin Ridley has played. I think I saw a stat somewhere that said in the last 5, I think it's like 4 or 5 weeks, nobody has more receiving yards in that amount of time as Calvin Ridley. And he should have more because I'm still bitter with that 51-yard touchdown catch he had erased off the board off of a bullcrap illegal formation penalty that they called us against the Vikings there. So could be more. But I still am very happy with him. He's flirting with 1,000 yards on the season if he continues this pace. And, I'm loving to see that. The chemistry. There you go. The chemistry with him and Levis is looking nice. J.C. Latham had a rough game, but he was due a rough game because he honestly hasn't had a rough game since the Bears in week 1. And you can't expect your rookie left tackle to just go in there, be a day 1 starter and not have some growing pains every now and again. So I'm honestly not even worried about that. My boy Brunskill. You ever get players where you just get him, you're like, I like that guy. He just does his job. I thought we did Brunskill dirty. A lot of times he was our best player last year on offense. Not on offense, on the offensive line. And for absolutely no reason, he never had a shot at that right guard position. I'm like, why? He was our most dependable offensive lineman last year. And now he's just never even after Sadiq Charles retires, he was still never in consideration for right guard. It's like, why? And now that we lost Cush for the year, he slides right in there at center. And honestly, I haven't noticed much, if any, of a difference between Cushenberry at center and Brunskill at center. He's just been that old reliable. He's not pancaking people or mauling people in the run game, but he's just good, smart player. Dependable. All right. Pollard was good again, minus the botched handoff. But the last thing we'll say about this game, Will Levis. He is stacking good games. He is, because last time me and my brother Josiah had the little chit-chat on how we felt about Levis and what our plans was with him, I had said I was 99.9% out on him. I said, I can't be all out on him. I was like, because we had this conversation when he was still injured. I said, because he could come out after being hurt and he could just play a really nice back half of the season. Like, really nice. And if that's the case, like, I can't just close the door on him. Now, he said he can close the door on him, and he already has. But I'm glad I kept it creaked because let's be honest, Will Levis is playing really good football. Is he playing elite football? No, but he's playing really good football. The deep ball's back. The wow throws are back because that's what he's been missing. He's always been kind of a pick machine, kind of a meme maker. But the explosive plays were just gone those first 3 weeks of the season that he played in. And they're back. So am I sold on him? Do I think he's the guy? Not quite. But my eyebrow is raised, and I'm just kind of keeping an eye on it. Keep stacking good games. Now here's a bold take. I should make this a whole video in of itself. Maybe it's not even that bold, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think he will be and should be our starting quarterback next year. Because as this college season's kind of shaken out, people like Jalen Milroe and Carson Beck and just like folk like that, Jackson Dart or whatever his name is, those people are just they're kind of like separating themselves in a not good way with the top of the quarterback draft. So the quarterback class was supposed to be deeper, but it's kind of looking like it's down to like Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. None of them are elite. And there are so many quarterback needy teams over us that are going to scoop those two quarterbacks, especially since we still have the Jags twice, who are terrible. We still have the Colts, who I think the Colts are terrible, personally. Bengals can't win because they can't stop a nosebleed. And we also have the Texans, who we already beat. Titans probably are not going to be in range to sign or to draft any of those top two quarterbacks. So that being said, it's either stick with Will Levis, who's super affordable, super cheap, and heading in the right direction for sure, or maybe get a bridge quarterback. But who's it going to be? Jacoby Brissett, Sam Darnold, Jameis Winston. I would honestly rather just stick with Will Levis over those. So now if he ends up wetting the bed, doing his pick sixes, those diving, chucking the ball at the running back for a fumble in the red zone, like if he starts doing that crap again the last couple games, then I'm like, all right, let's get him out of here. It's famous Jameis time in Nashville. But Will Levis has definitely caught my attention. 3 good games in a row. Dude's throwing for some yards, that's for sure. Now let's go ahead and close out this video here at the end with a little bit of a look to the Commanders game. Because here's the thing. With my clickbaity title, talking about, this is the Titans must beat the Commanders to keep their season alive and yada, yada, yada. Titans season's probably done. We just gave up too many games that we shouldn't have given up early on. We're sitting at 3-8. If we lose, we're 3-9, so we are guaranteed to have a losing record. And, even if we have a really good finish, like a winning record from here on out, it's just too late, and we'll finish 6-11 again, 7-10. But we're 3-8. If we beat these Commanders and jump to 4-8, we'll get the Jags 5-8. Who's after that? I'm going to pull up the Titans schedule real quick. This is great podcasting right here. Hope you're enjoying watching me try to look something up. All right. So then 5-8 after beating the Jags. Then we got the Bengals. And the Bengals, like I said, they can't stop a nosebleed. They're the team I'm worried about when it comes to this little hypothetical. But if we were to beat them 6-8, we're not getting swept by the Colts. Suddenly we're 7-8. Then we got the Jaguars, who still suck. Worst team in the league at the moment, 8-8. It's possible we go against the Texans and we have a win and in for the division, 9-8, because the Texans have a very tough schedule coming up. That's super, super, super delusional, wishful thinking from a Tennessee Titans fan. But like that Jim Carrey meme, so you're telling me there's a chance. That's basically how I feel about it. So yeah, at least the Titans decided to make things interesting, because before Will Levis came back and started playing really good, and we were just losing, especially with those 2 back-to-back games against the Bills and the Lions, where we just got murdered. It was ugly. I hated that so bad. I'm just like, this is the most disinterested in the Tennessee Titans I've maybe ever been. It was ugly. So if nothing else, this nice little division win kind of gave us some hope. Just a little bit of hope that we could actually, do something at the end of this season. Are we? Probably not. My prediction will be 6-11 again, probably. We'll probably beat the Jags once, beat the Colts. That gets to 5 wins. And then we can either beat the Commanders or the Bengals, one of the others, But when it comes to sport fandom, isn't hope all you're really looking for? I think so. But I guess that's all I got for you fine folk tonight. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving and ate plenty turkey. But I'm not going to hold you too long. So peace out, tighten up, and all that jazz.